Okay, this video is a complete guide on how to master Canva step by step, and it is for beginners and for people who just want to learn some new Canva tricks. Yes, because in this video, I'm going to give you a full masterclass on how to use Canva, not just to create designs, but to create designs that you can actually use, such as creating videos for Instagram, or creating clothing prints that you can actually sell for a profit onto t-shirts. Because that's the thing, if you're new around here, my name is Sarah and I pretty much use Canva every single day. Yep, as I've talked about before on this channel in previous videos, I run multiple online print-on-demand clothing stores. And I use Canva extensively. I use it to create things like marketing materials, social media posts, and even my clothing designs. I am pretty much obsessed with Canva. So in this video, my goal is to make you a Canva expert too by teaching you how I do all of these things step by step. So to get started, I highly recommend getting a free 30-day trial to Canva Pro if you haven't already. Yes, because here's the thing, right? Canva has two account types for individuals. There is their free account and there is their pro account. Now, the free account is still very generous with lots of tools and features included. So if you just want to start with this to try it out, then that is absolutely fine. But the pro account is honestly the one that I use because it gives me access to all their tools, all of their AI apps, and their full range of over 140 million graphics, photos, fonts, and elements. And I recommend that you register for it too because you have very little to lose since Canva gives away a free 30-day account for it as part of their trial. So to get the most out of this tutorial, I recommend taking advantage of this offer. And if you'd like to support this channel, I will include my affiliate link in the video description below. Using it is entirely optional, but it is always appreciated. So thank you if you do choose to use it. Then once you're logged in, we will begin by creating a new design project in Canva. And doing this is simple. The easiest way is to come and click the Create button, then come to Custom Size, and then type in how big you want your design to be and your project size measurements. So for me, as an example, I use Canva often to design t-shirts, of course, so I set the project size to be 12 by 16 inches because this is a common print area for t-shirts that I sell. But you can also use the drop-down menu to use pixels, millimeters, and centimeters to choose your project size measurements too. It is up to you. Either way, once you've chosen how big you want it to be, just click Create New Design, and now you'll have your blank project. You can then come up to the top panel and change the name of your design to be whatever you like. And you can also click on the blank background, and in the pop-up menu, click the color icon. Now you can change the background color to be anything that you like. It's up to you. So yes, this is one way to create a design. And another way is to use Canva's built-in project size templates. And that's super easy. Just click Create, and this time, browse through the different tabs. You'll see Canva has popular project sizes built in by default. So under the Social tab, you'll see that it has the sizes for different types of popular social media platforms, such as Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and TikTok. And so if I click on, say, the Instagram post button, it will create a new project for me, which is the exact size of an Instagram post. So I don't have to enter the measurements myself. And another way is you can click Create and then type in a website or app you are using. So if I type in YouTube, you can see it has the measurements for common designs that you might make, such as the YouTube thumbnail dimensions. So if I wanted to use Canva to create graphics for a YouTube channel, these are very convenient. You can also create a new project by using one of Canva's built-in templates. Yes, so in the Canva community, very talented people have created beautiful templates that you can use as a starting base for your project. And these are honestly really convenient, and oftentimes you will find that it is much quicker to create a design using a template rather than creating it from scratch. It's a really awesome feature within Canva. So to get them, just click on Templates and then type in whatever you want to create. So for me here as an example, if I had a travel vlog for YouTube and I wanted to create a thumbnail for it, I could come here and search for travel vlog thumbnail templates. And as you can see, there are lots to choose from. So let's say, for example, then that I liked this thumbnail template and wanted to use it. All I'd do is click Customize this template. And now Canva will have created a new project for me using this template. I can now come in here and edit this as much as I like. I can move, delete, and replace graphics. I can modify text. I can move graphics around, things like that. So this is one way to access templates. The other way is that once you're inside any Canva project, even a blank project, you can click Design and then in the Templates tab, type in what you want a template for. And now you can browse through the different templates the community has made and choose any that you like and click to add it into your project. So this is a really convenient way to make designs quickly. Alright, let's now go ahead and learn how to add in images. And to start, let's focus on graphics. And for me, I like to learn Canva's features by recreating and remixing popular designs for fun. So I decided to take the viral wildflower print-on-demand t-shirt style here that you see for sale on Amazon and Etsy, and to make my own version of this by using Canva's graphics. And to do that, come to the Canva sidebar and click on Elements. As you can see, Canva has lots of different types of visual elements you can add in, not just graphics. You can add in photos, shapes, animated sticker graphics, stock videos, charts, tables, frames, all sorts. This is one of Canva's strongest features, I reckon, just how many elements that it has built in. But yes, to add in a graphic, just come to the search bar and type in whatever you want, then click on Graphics. Now you can see that Canva has a lot of different graphics pre-installed into it that we can use in our design. And to add in an image that you like, just click on it. Then you can move it around and you can resize it to make it smaller and bigger. And you can also crop the image to crop out any parts of it that you don't like. And you can use the angle button to change the angle of the image and rotate it. You can also see that we have some buttons that let us edit an image. So we can flip it to change its direction. And for some images, not all but some, we can change its colors using the Canva AI color technology. So I could make this flower yellow if I wanted to. And you can also use the transparency button to make it more or less transparent. And if I wanted to reverse any of these changes, I can just click the undo button at the top toolbar and it will reverse the changes one by one. Super simple. You might have also noticed that when I added this, Canva recommended some other images to me. This is called magic recommendations. Canva's AI is effectively guessing, based on this image, what other similar images you might also want to use. So this is a very helpful feature to know about. Plus, you might have also noticed something else. And that is that this graphic had a crown icon next to it. That crown icon means that it is an image only available in the Pro Canva account, not the free Canva account. So let's say, for example, that you wanted to only show images available in the free Canva account. You can filter the results to only show the free images or Pro images. And if I wanted wide flower graphics, I could set it to only show horizontal images, or vice versa. If I wanted long flowers, I could set it to only show vertical images. And if I wanted to reverse these changes, I could clear them to show all of Canva's images again. So then, these images are great, don't get me wrong, but for this particular design, I don't want watercolor flowers. I want hand-drawn flowers that are in a line art doodle style. So first of all, I'm going to right-click this image, and then in the menu, I'm going to select delete it. Then I'm going to come and change my search, and this time, look for wildflower doodles. Oftentimes within Canva, when you are searching for images, the more specific you are with what you search for, the closer you will get to what you want. So I went through and browsed through the different images that Canva had included and added in each of the ones that I wanted into my design. And take a look. When I resize an image, you can see that Canva's AI will automatically snap it into place sometimes. That is the AI helping me size my image exactly so that it will be in line with the others. Canva's AI will also do that too when you're sizing multiple elements in a page. It'll often automatically snap into certain positions to help you size and space images and elements evenly throughout the design. You don't have to use these suggestions, but they are actually quite useful. Then after I'd finished adding in each of these images as part of our example design, I needed to resize them all so that I could have them all fit on my page. So I took my cursor, clicked and held it down, and dragged it over all of them. Now you can see that they are all selected at the same time. So I can drag them around the page as a single group. And also, I can click the group button. Now they will be permanently grouped together. So this makes it very easy to resize them and to drag them around as a combined group. And if you do want to undo that, that is very easy. Just click the ungroup button and now each element will be separate again and you can move them around individually. So I just played around now with the sizing and placement a bit, getting them exactly the way that I wanted. And then, well, that was pretty much it. I'll show you later in this masterclass how to save and download images, but look, we have finished our example design. Here's what it looks like on a t-shirt mock-up. Nice. So that's how you add and edit graphics. Now let me show you how to add and edit photos. Now, again, as part of this, I'm going to be recreating another style of popular t-shirt design, not to sell, but just as an example to show you how you can use photos and edit them. And for this example, I'm going to be creating a t-shirt design similar to this popular style here. It features a photo of a cat peeking out of a pocket, and the pocket itself isn't real, it's just a graphic of a pocket. So I'll be making something very similar to this, except instead of a cat, I'll make it a puppy instead, because as my longtime viewers know, I just absolutely love dogs. So to get started, I clicked to create a new blank page for us to work with for this example t-shirt design. Then I came to elements, and then I did a search for a puppy sitting. But this time, instead of clicking on the graphics tab, I clicked on the photos tab. And you can see that Canva has lots and lots of photos of very cute puppies sitting. Again, all of these are pre-included images, and I think this is one of Canva's best features. So for me, I chose this very cute Dalmatian puppy, and when I clicked on it, it got added into my project. Now, Canva has lots and lots of options when it comes to editing photos. All you have to do is click on a photo and click Edit. This will open up the photo editing menu, and you can do lots of things. For example, one thing you can do is click on filters. And now you can click on any of Canva's pre-included filter options, and its AI will apply the filter to your photo. And you can now adjust the slider to make the filter more or less intense. So the filters can be a very quick and easy way to edit your photo colors to get it looking the way that you want. However, if you want to be in control of exactly how the photo looks and make some very specific changes, you can do that. Just come back to the image editing menu and click adjust. Now you can come in here and adjust all the different image editing sliders to get the colors looking exactly the way that you want. So you can change the photo color tint, the brightness, the color saturation, that sort of thing, just by using the sliders. Or you can click auto adjust and the Canva AI will adjust it for you. You can also edit specific parts. So you can see here that using the adjust brush tool, I was able to come and brush over just the eyes of the little Dalmatian puppy. And so now I can edit this part of the image. So for example, I can use the brightness tool to make the eyes brighter or darker. And Canva also has a range of AI tools as well inside of its Magic Studio that you can use to modify photos. And these can be super helpful. For example, take the Magic Eraser tool. Using this, I can brush over some of the spots in the Dalmatian puppy, and the Magic Eraser will edit them out, replacing them with the white fur. And check out the Magic Grab tool. Using this, I can click the Dalmatian, and what the AI will do is it will separate it off from the background, and then once it's finished loading, it will now be detached from the background, and the AI will fill in the background automatically. And take a look at the Magic Edit tool. With this, you can paint over any section of the photo that you want, and then you can tell it what you want the AI to add in for you. So I asked it to give my dog here a party hat. And as you can see, some of these hats definitely looked better than others, which is why Canva gives you 4 options to choose from. So yes, I'd love to go over every single way that you can edit photos. Unfortunately though, if I did that, we'd probably be here for hours. So I highly recommend that if you're in the process of learning Canva, that you just try out these tools yourself. Pick a photo, start using the editing options and play around with them and see all the cool things that you can do to it. But for me, for this design in particular, I needed the AI background remover tool, which is also inside of the Magic Studio options. This removed the background of the photo, leaving just the puppy, which is exactly what I wanted. Then I clicked the crop tool and I used this to crop the body of the puppy, leaving just its head and neck to pop out of the pocket. And then that was it. I just went and did a search for a graphic of a pocket to combine with my photo. And there were a lot of very cool pocket graphics to pick from within the Canva image library. So I selected one and then I put the pocket over top of the puppy photo. And I used the Canva AI color changing tool to change the pocket color to be gray instead of blue. And I flipped the puppy around to have it looking to the left instead. And that was it. After playing around a bit with sizing, I finished my design. And here's what it looks like on a t-shirt mock-up. Super cute. So then on to the next Canva feature, but first, if you are using Canva like me to create products to sell online, either digital products or physical products like t-shirts, then you will definitely want to know about today's video sponsor, .store domain names. Yes, as my longtime subscribers know, I am personally super picky about who I let sponsor my videos, but I have let .store domain names sponsor my video today because, well, It's something that I'm actually using myself. Yes, because you see, here's the thing, right? If you go to the biggest online stores right now that are getting the highest conversions, like Cristiano Ronaldo's, Mr. Beast's, Rihanna's, and even Emirates Airlines online store, they are all using a .store domain name, not a .com domain name, because studies have shown that it does actually help you to sell more. A detailed study showed that websites with a .store domain name get 87% more traffic, and they are getting 2 times higher rankings than other websites on Google. Essentially, customers are clicking on these websites more, increasing their conversions and therefore increasing their rankings, because by just seeing the domain name, they instinctively know that it's an online store, which is exactly what they're looking for, and so they click on it. Which is exactly why for the new stores I create, rather than getting a .com domain name, I plan on switching over and getting a .store domain name because, well, I want more traffic and higher conversions too. So if you'd like to support this channel and the free tutorials that I make, you can use my coupon code to get a .store domain name for 99 cents for your first year by clicking on the link in my video description below and using my coupon code, Sarah. Plus, as a bonus, if you get a .store domain name through my coupon, you will also get free plus access to Elevate.store, which is a curated toolkit for online sellers. This site gives huge discounts and exclusive deals for popular marketing tools that online stores use to launch and scale their brands, such as Shopify, TikTok ads, and Wix. And you can get access to these huge discounts through their Plus portal for free when you get a .store domain name. So thank you .store domain names for sponsoring today's video. And now, back to the tutorial. Okay then, let's now learn how to add in text and to edit the different text effects and fonts. Yes, so this is another feature that I absolutely love about Canva. There are so many different fonts and text styles that allow you to create pretty much any design that you like. And to show you how, I'm going to create a print-ready t-shirt file that you could actually sell. It's a popular style that you'll see often on Etsy and Amazon, the retro slogan t-shirt. It's basically an image with retro style text curved over top of it. So to add in text to your design, click the text button, and then from here, you'll have several options. If you just want to add a standard text box, click to add text, then just type in what you want your text to be, and that's it. You've added in your first text box. You'll also see that if you keep scrolling down through the text options, the Canva has lots of different heading style presets that you can use as well. So if you like any of these and want to add them into your design, just click on them. And then you can double click on them to highlight it, and then add in your own text and customize them too. But yes, back to my design. This design will feature 2 text boxes, and to get started, we'll make this text box bigger since, well, it's quite small. It's easy to do, just drag it in the corners. This will increase the size, making it easier for us to see and customize. Then we'll change the font. Click on the text and then click on the font menu. Now you will see that Canva has lots of fonts to choose from. Last I checked, they actually had over 3,000 fonts, which is kind of crazy, isn't it? So to use any of the fonts, just click on them and your text will change to it. However, let's also be honest here, 3,000 fonts is a lot to pick from, isn't it? That is why I highly recommend that when you're choosing a font, you can use the different font folders that Canva has that group fonts based on the type of style that it is. So for example, if you're using a design and you want a font that feels like it's from the 1920s flapper era, then inside of the vintage text font folder font, you'll find lots of options to pick from, such as the awesome Lathuska font. Or alternatively, if you know the font that you want to use, you can just search for it. So for me, I knew I wanted to use the Edmund texture font because it has that cool distressed vintage look to it. In addition, you can also edit your text by using the effects options. These let you add a bunch of cool text effects to it. For example, you can click the lift effect and it will add a shadow behind the text, making it look like it's lifting off the page. You can then use the slider to make this more or less intense. And some of these effects, such as the echo effect, have multiple sliders and customizations. So this one, for example, you can change how offset the glitch effect is. And you can change the direction of it relative to your text. And you can change the color of it too. So I highly recommend playing around with and experimenting with each of these different text effects. For me though, I wanted to use a specific text effect, the curve effect. This is one of the most popular text effects within Canva. Using the slider, you can see that you can change which direction the text curves in. So these are features that are very good to know about. But there is also an additional way to edit text that is crucial to know. And that is the text spacing tool. So with this tool here, you can change 2 things. Firstly, you can change how far apart each of the letters are. So you can make the letters closer or further apart from each other. But secondly, let's say that you had a text box that had multiple lines within it. So here's an example here, right? Well, with the text spacing tool, you can change how close or how far apart these lines of text are. So this is a very handy tool to know about. But yes, for my design, now that I'd added in my top line of text, I needed to add in the next element of the design, which was the pictures. So I found a cool retro sunset graphic that I liked, and I cropped it slightly to turn it more into a half sun rather than a full sun. Then I came and did a search for a graphic of an angry cat, and honestly, Canva had some really great pictures in here to use, but this one was my favorite. So I dragged and dropped the cat into place, making sure that its paws looked like it was standing at the bottom of the sunset. Then I came to the top text box and I right-clicked it. You can see that this menu here pops up with options. So for me, I clicked the duplicate button. And then I moved the text to be below the image, and I clicked effects and selected to remove the curve effect, and I changed out the text to be the t-shirt punchline, and then I resized it. So you can see, for example, that I came in here and I made the letters spaced to be closer together because this is a longer line of text. So I wanted to be able to make space for it at the bottom of my design. And then I dragged it in the corners. And you can see that Canva's spacing snapped it automatically into place to match the same size and width as my sunset picture. Then I changed the color of the text, and it's easy to do. Just click your text box and click on the font color, and now you can change it. Now you've got 4 options here. Firstly, Canva keeps track of any colors that you've used in a design already, so you can just select from these. Then secondly, Canva also has a range of popular color choices that you can choose from. And then thirdly, Canva also lets you select any color that you like using the add a new color option. So you can use a color picker to choose any color that you like. But fourthly, a really cool option is that for some graphics and photos, Canva's AI identifies the colors used in it and lets you select them for your font color so that they can match. So I did that here to make my font color match the sunset. And as an unnecessary but nice artistic touch, I also clicked on the cat and I changed the color of its eyes and its tongue to match the sunset color too. And check it out, here's how it looked once exported and uploaded onto a t-shirt mockup. It looks super cool. Okay then, so let's now discuss how to add Canva's shapes and lines. Yes, the shapes and lines tool within Canva is pretty amazing, and if you are creative, you can make some pretty amazing things with it. And to show you how, I'm going to create an example of a digital printable product which is super popular with customers on Etsy, checklists. And it's honestly super easy. First, come to Elements and then click on the Shape section of Elements, and as you can see, there are a lot included in Canva, and to use one, just click on it to add it into your canvas. Then next, editing it is easy. You can just drag it in the sides and the corners to reshape it to whatever size you want it to be. And you can click the color icon. This will let you change your shape's color. You can pick it to be either a gradient color or a solid color. It's up to you. Then next, for this particular design, I added in a new shape, this time a circle, and I made it the same color as the rectangle. And then I added in another circle, but this time made it white, and I put it on top of the other circle. Then I added in the checklist beneath it. So to do that, I came back to the shape tool and clicked to add in a square. But this time I set the color to be no color, as in I made the square transparent. And this time I clicked the stroke button too. This added a border to my square. And as you can see, you have multiple borders to choose from. And you can make the border as thick or thin as you like. And you can use the stroke color tool to change the color of it as well. Then I came back to Elements, and now I clicked the Line tool. And as you can see, you have multiple different types of lines that you can choose from. So for me, I just wanted the normal straight line, and editing it is easy. You can drag it in the corners to make it bigger or smaller, and you can use the angle button to angle it in whatever direction you like. And you can change the color of the line by using the stroke color option and then picking whatever color you want it to be. And you can use the stroke weight tool to change the thickness of the line and what type of line that it is. And inside of here, you can also make the line rounded at the edges if you want. And a very cool option is that you can use the line type tool to change it to be a curved line instead if you don't want your line to just be a straight normal line. Although for me, that is exactly what I wanted. I put it next to my square, and now I had a blank checklist with a tick box just by combining shapes. And well, that was pretty much it. To finish off my page, I dragged my cursor over the checklist and then right-clicked it and clicked to copy them. Then I clicked paste and I dragged this new checklist underneath it. And I did this until I had 6 different lines. Then I zoomed out and dragged my cursor over all of the shapes and clicked to copy them. And then I pasted 2 copies of this checklist, spacing them out evenly across the page to form 3 columns. And then I dragged my cursor over all of these shapes and clicked to copy them, and then put these shapes underneath the previous ones. And then I just added in the finishing touches. I changed the color of each of the checklist shapes so that they would be nice, fun, and colorful, rather than just black and boring. And I added in a text title to each section to create different types of mini packing lists, such as a packing list for clothes and a packing list for toiletries, that sort of thing. And I added in a cute graphic into each of these little white circles that we had added in to add some cute visual elements to the list to make it more fun. And then that was pretty much it. I'll absolutely admit that I'm not as great at designing aesthetic digital products as I am at designing t-shirts, but you still get the point, right? You can create a lot of cool designs utilizing Canva's shapes and lines. Okay, let's now discuss one of Canva's most popular and unique features: frames, grids, and mock-ups. Yes, so we'll start with the frames, and the frames are pretty much just a shape that you can drag and drop a picture into. And frames are surprisingly useful. A lot of the very best Canva tricks and Canva hacks videos out there are about using frames in very creative ways. Yep, so let's start off with pre-installed frames. Inside of the Elements tab, just keep scrolling until you see the Frames button and then click on it. And when you do, you will see that you have a huge amount of frames to pick from. There are lots of different types of frames here. There are basic, standard shapes like circles, and there are more complex shapes such as frames that are screens like a mobile phone screen or a tablet screen, and there are frames that are letters and numbers, and frames that are fun shapes like paint splotches, that sort of thing. And using them is easy. Just find a frame that you like and click on it. It will then get added into your page. Now you just need to choose or upload a picture to add into it. So for me, I just found a cute photo of a dog as an example, then drag the photo into the frame, and that's it. It will automatically crop it to match the frame shape. And if you want to change how the image is cropped, click on the image and then click on the crop button. Now you can move the image around within the circle frame and you can resize it as well. So by doing this, I was able to change it so that rather than the dog being on the left of the circle frame, it was now in the middle. And now you can edit it like a normal photo, basically. You can drag it in the corners and the edges to resize it and make it bigger. And you can click the stroke button to add a border to it. And you can change the border color to be whatever color you want it to be. And if you want to delete the image, you can click the image and then click the trash icon. And when you do, you'll have the choice to either delete the image or the whole frame. So if I just delete the image, you'll see the frame is still there and I can use it again. And as I said, it isn't just basic shapes that are included within frames. There are some really cool, unique frames here. One of the most popular frame shapes is actually the letters. So for example, I came back to frames and I did a search within here for letters. You can see that they are all here. So I just chose the letter A. Then I came back to elements and did a search for a texture. And then I went to photos and selected a nice ambient texture background as an example. And look, when I drag it over the letter, it takes on the cool texture image. Plus there is also a variation of Canva frames, and that is grids. The grid tab within Canva still uses the frames, but it does so to create convenient grids that you can drag and drop onto the page to help you quickly create designs. So, for example, let's say that I select this grid. It will resize it to my canvas size. And now with the grid selected, I can click the spacing button and I can change the spacing between the columns and how thick or thin they are. And I can click the stroke button to add a border between the columns. And then I can go and find a picture to add into a frame. And then I can add that picture into my canvas and I can choose which of these 4 columns to drop it into by just dragging it over the one that I want and popping it in. And so as you can see, grids can be a very convenient way to create a perfectly spaced out design without having to manually go in and resize images yourself and then place them in exactly where you want them to be on the canvas. By utilizing the grid feature, I was able to quickly and easily create an image here showing different photos that contrast different weather aesthetics. And there is also another variation of Canva frames that are very helpful to know about. And that is Canva's mockups. So again, within the Elements tab, just keep scrolling through the different options until you come to the Mockups tab and then select it. And when you do, you'll see that you have all sorts of mockups such as smartphones, TVs, t-shirts, mugs, all sorts that are all using Canva frames. All you have to do is drop a picture into the frame and then that's it. You have a mockup. So for example, I went into the smartphone tab and picked a mockup of someone holding a phone. Then just as an example, I came and found a photo of a woman in selfie mode. Then once it added this photo into my canvas, I then dragged and dropped it to be on top of the mock-up. It took a few seconds, but as you can see, it added the photo to the mock-up. However, if you take a closer look, you'll notice that it added it in landscape mode. So to fix it, I clicked on the image and clicked edit. Then once inside of the crop box, I made the image bigger by dragging it in the corners, and I reframed it so that the woman was in the middle. And then I clicked to apply the changes. And look, now it looks like the woman is FaceTiming and having a conversation on her phone. So yes, frames are an amazing Canva feature. Alrighty then, let me now show you how to upload and edit your own pictures. Yes, so take this thumbnail template here for example. You can see it has a photo of a random guy in it, right? Well, let me show you how I would switch this out and replace it with a photo of me. And it's super simple to do. First off, let's delete this random guy. Now, just open up your folder with the image that you want to upload and drag and drop it into your design, and then that's it. Now the photo will be added into your design and you'll be able to access it anytime by clicking on the Uploads button inside of Canva, which will take you to your Uploads folder. But yes, that's pretty much it. You can see that I successfully added in my photo, and so now all I had to do is edit it, and so I made a few tweaks to it. Firstly, I clicked on my image and clicked to edit it, and then I used Canva's AI background remover to get rid of the background, leaving just a photo of me to use. However, I realized that when I made myself bigger, that the photo was in low resolution and it looked a bit pixelated. So I went and fixed that. Inside of the image editing settings, I found the image upscaler under the Canva app section, and I upscaled my image into the highest resolution I could, and when it had finished upscaling, I selected to swap my pixelated version with Canva's new upscaled version, which looked much, much better. Then I decided to add in an image effect, which is often commonly used to improve thumbnail photos, which is the shadow effect. So this effect is really nice because it makes your photo look like it's popping out of the image a bit, helping it to stand out. You can use the sliders to change the intensity of the shadow, and you can also change the color of the shadow. So I changed it to be white to contrast with the darker thumbnail layout design. And then that was pretty much it. After playing around a bit with the spacing and the text, I finished my design. But yes, on with the masterclass. And let's now discuss how to manage layers, groups, and how to lock elements. Yes, I know that this doesn't sound very exciting to learn about, but trust me, it is super useful to know how to do all these things. Especially when you're working with a design like this presentation here. This is a template created by a member of the Canva community. It's a presentation for grade school teachers teaching basic math to students, and it's actually quite a complex template, because each of these slides has multiple graphics, shapes, text, and elements all on a single page. And so understanding layers, groups, and element locking can make editing and adding new additions to a page much, much easier. So let's start out with layers. First, click on a page within your Canva design and click the position button. This will open up the layer tab. Now you can see each of the different pictures, text, and shape elements this creator used. It's a lot, isn't it? And check it out. If I come and click on this text layer and then drag it below this graphic, then look, it disappears because now the graphic on this layer is above this text. And on the flip side, if I click and drag this layer to be back above that layer with the graphic, now that text will be visible again because the text layer is now on top of it. So this is why it's crucial to know about layers. Because, for example, let's say I wanted to add in a fun little scribble to the title. Well, if I click to add it in, you'll see that the scribble is covering the slide title, isn't it? Which looks terrible. But if I open up the layer tab and then click, hold, and drag the scribble layer to be beneath the title layer, now the scribble sits behind the text. So by knowing about layers, it makes it easy to make changes to a design at any stage along the way. It's also very helpful to know how to lock elements because you take these two elements here. This shape and this picture are close together, which means it can be very easy to accidentally click the wrong one and move it. So let's fix that by clicking on this shape and clicking the lock button. Now it is literally locked into place. When I try to move it, I can't, it won't budge. So now I can move the graphic layered under it without worrying that I will accidentally move the shape above it. And at any time, I can click it, select to unlock it, and now I can move it again. Easy. Plus, it's also super helpful to know about using groups as well. I used the group feature earlier on in this tutorial video, but I only showed you one way to do it, which was by clicking, holding, and dragging your cursor over multiple elements. Then with them all selected, click the group button. Now these elements are grouped together, so I can move them together and I can also make them bigger or smaller together. And take a look, if we open up the layer tab, you'll even see that they are now grouped together as a single layer, and it's very easy to ungroup them. Just click on the group and click ungroup, and now they are separated off into their own elements again. And if you check out the layer tab, you'll see that they are back to having their own individual layer. So that's one way. Another way is to simply hold Shift and then select each element you want, and then click the group button, and now they'll be grouped together as a single layer. Or alternatively, you can also open up the Layers tab and then holding Control down on your keyboard, select each element's layer that you want, and then right-click one of them and click Group, and now they'll all be grouped together. As I said, it's super easy. Alright then, let's now discuss a really cool hidden feature inside of Canva, which is uploading new fonts by utilizing the Brand Kit feature. Yes, so Canva of course does have over 3,000 fonts installed by default. That is fantastic, but the truth is that there are a lot of very amazing fonts out there that are not included by default within Canva. Nope, there is a website, Creative Fabrica, where you can find a huge range of really amazing niche premium fonts and niches that you won't find on Canva, such as Halloween inspired fonts like this cool bone font, or the Beardsons font, which is heavily inspired by the Wild West, or the popular honeymoon font, which I've seen being used on a lot of products on Etsy. And so, as you can imagine, adding an extra font lets you create some very cool, unique designs. So I'm going to show you how to do this right now by uploading them into your custom brand kit. Yes, but first you will need a font file to upload, right? And again, I recommend getting them from Creative Fabrica because not only are there tons of cool fonts on here, but they also let all new accounts sign up for a free trial, which gets you downloads of any 10 elements from their website for free, including their fonts, which honestly is a huge bargain. So I'll include my affiliate link to this in the description. Then once signed in, just browse through and pick any font that you like and open it up, then click the download button. This will download a zipped folder to your computer. So just find this zip folder saved on your computer, then right click it and select to unzip it and to extract the files. And when you do, you'll have a folder with your font file in it. Then next come back to Canva, and on the Canva homepage, click the brand button, and then on the brand kit tab, open up your default brand kit, and then scroll down to the font section and select to upload a font, and then drag and drop your font file into the upload box. Then on the pop-up screen, confirm that you have the right to use it. And then that's it. Now when you're working inside of a Canva project, if you add in a text box and you go to change the font for it, you can now do a search for the new font you uploaded, and it will be there available for you to use. And there's something else that you should know. And that is that for some fonts out there, you will find when you download them that they will come in multiple different versions. Such as this font here. This comes in multiple versions, and well, you can upload all of them to Canva. So let's say I went ahead and downloaded this font from Creative Fabrica. Well, now I can come back to Canva and inside of the brand kit section, select to upload a font, and then you can see in my unzipped folder that I had multiple different font versions. So I went ahead and uploaded all of the open type font files for each of them into Canva, and I confirmed that yes, I really did mean to upload multiple versions of it, and then that's it. As you can see, they're now available in your custom brand kit. And so check this out. Now if I go and look up the cinema font within my Canva account, I can see the different versions and I can select from them, which is very cool. So then, let's now take a look at how to create videos within Canva. And it's actually pretty cool. Because while, if I am being truly honest here, Canva is not the most advanced video editor, it does have by far the most templates and stock videos that I have ever seen in a video editor. Which means then that for a lot of videos, especially mobile videos for platforms like Instagram Reels, TikTok or YouTube Shorts, Canva is oftentimes the best video editor that you can use to make them. And creating a video within Canva is super simple. When you click on Create in the Canva homepage, just click on Video and then choose what type of video you'd like to create. And for most people, you'll probably want to create a mobile video. So that is the one that I selected. Then once you have your blank video, you'll need to add visuals. So one way is to come to Elements and do a search for whatever you want a video on, and then click on the Video tab, and now you will have a bunch of videos to choose from. Now, most videos are in widescreen format. Canva will resize it to your video frame, but you might not like its positioning. If so, just click the crop button, and then you can move where the video is sitting within the frame. And so now I've changed which part of this widescreen video is playing. Or alternatively, you can come to the search filter options and then choose to filter the results to show vertical videos. This will then filter the results to only show mobile style videos, which is a very handy tip to know about. And when you add in videos, you'll probably notice something. The video length changes to be whatever the clip was. So when I first started this project, by default, the video length was set to 5 seconds. But now because this clip I added in is longer, this is the new video length. So let's say I wanted to shorten this clip to 3 seconds. I can just click, hold and drag the video in the timeline on either side of it to shorten it and only include the section that I want. And so that is how you can trim videos. And just like with photos in Canva, you can also add visual filters to your videos too. It's simple. Again, with your clip selected, click the edit button. Then in the video editing settings, click on the filters tab. And now you can select from Canva's different visual features. These are great for quickly adding a particular type of aesthetic, like say a vintage aesthetic or a bold maximalist aesthetic. And you can edit it manually too. Back in the video editing tools, click adjust. You can then click the auto adjust button to let Canva's AI do color correction on your clip. Or you can go in and manually adjust it yourself using each of the sliders and options to get the clip looking exactly the way that you want. Plus, a super handy tool is the background remover. This auto removes the background, making it transparent, leaving just the person or main subject like this dog here in the video. But here's the thing, right? This is just one clip, right? So what if you wanted to add multiple clips to create your video? Well, it's pretty easy. One way is to just come to your timeline and click to add a scene. So, for example, I added in a blank scene here, and now I can add anything that I want to it. Or alternatively, you can just drag and drop any media that you like, for example, a video, into the timeline directly. So that's what I did. And take a look. We now have 2 clips. One clip is the white dog, and the second clip is the video that I uploaded of my dog Starbuck. And so I decided to make 2 small tweaks to this video. First, I came and made this clip shorter to match the other video, so I clicked and dragged it in the edges so that it would be 3 seconds long. Then I clicked and dragged the video itself to be in front of the white dog. And so now you can see that the clip of my dog Starbuck plays before the white dog clip because it is now sitting first in the video timeline. Plus, I can also add a transition to these clips. Just put your cursor in between the 2 clips on the video editing timeline and select the Add Transition button. Now a transition menu will pop up. There are lots of different types of transition animations that you can choose from, and when you select one, you can choose how long or short you want the transition to be. So since these are 2 short video clips, I decided to move the slider down to have the transition period be short. And so check it out, now we can preview the video, and instead of it just hard cutting to the next clip, it has the image overlapping transition between them. And you can also add elements to the video too, such as text. So here I added in a text title featuring Starbucks' name, and I edited its style and font settings just like a normal Canva project. And here's the thing, right? When I add this in, by default, the text will appear on screen for 5 seconds. Well, I can change that. With the text selected, I can come to the video timeline and then find the text effect on it and drag it in the sides to either shorten it or increase the length and change where the text element first appears on the video. And I can animate it too. Again, with the text selected, click the animate button, and now you can select from a range of different text animations for it. And you can also select whether the animation will appear when the text enters or when it leaves, or both, and change the intensity of the animation. And then that was it. I went and added in a second text animation too, this time for the white dog. And so now their different names pop up as their clips play, which is very cute. And you can also do the same thing with other types of elements, such as pictures. So I added in a little wolf graphic into this video, and then again, just like with the text, when I click on it, I can see it in the video timeline, so I can lengthen, shorten, or change when and where it appears on the video by dragging it around. And I can click the animate button and add an animation. Just like with text, you have lots of different animations you can pick from, and when you pick one that you like, you can either choose to add the animation to the start or end of it. And so check it out. If we go and click on the preview box button to preview the video and give it a quick watch, you can now see that during the Starbucks portion of the clip, that graphic pops up. But you see, here's the thing, right? While it's absolutely fine to create your videos from scratch like this, I will absolutely admit that adding in things like special effects and animations is quite time consuming. Which is why I reckon that the real magic with Canva video editing is using the built-in templates to help speed up the process that have been created by the community. Yep, if you click on the design button and then type in whatever sort of video you want to make, you will see a huge range of templates to choose from. And this is where Canva's video creation tool, I think, gets absolutely crazy, because there is no other video editing tool that I know of that has so many built-in templates that you can use. And if there's one that you like this one here, which I personally quite like, you can open it up and preview it. As you can see, this template here comes with 5 different scenes. And so if after looking over these, you wanted to use it, you can then click to apply this template to your design. And then, well, that's it. As you can see, all of the elements in the video have been imported and automatically added to your editing timeline. So you can now customize it. So for example, take this scene here. I decided to customize this layout to be about dogs. So I deleted any elements on the scene that I didn't want, and then I changed the text to instead be about it being tips for a happy dog. And I moved the text elements around to where I wanted them on the page, and I also updated the font of the top text box to better match my niche. Then I came to the elements and added in a dog video clip by dragging and dropping it onto the page in the video timeline that I wanted to add it to. Then I right-clicked it and clicked to set it as the video background. This replaced it as the video playing in the background while keeping the same visual aesthetic filters that the original video had. And if we play it back, you can see that we've kept the original animations and video filters, but replaced it with our own text and our own background clip, turning it into a very different video, much quicker than if we had added in all of these elements and all of these different filters in ourselves. And I'll tell you what, some of these templates are super cool and really creative. Like, check this out. If we do a search for texting videos, you'll see that there are a bunch of video templates in here that people have created in all sorts of different styles and different aesthetics, which show different animation clips of different texting and messaging conversations happening. This would be very time consuming to create from scratch. So for example, let's say that I came to this texting conversation template here and I added in all of these pages into my video timeline. Well, check this out. We can click on the video timeline and drag it up to expand it. And look at how many different elements this creator added into their video. There are so many different images, shapes, animations, frames. All of this, if you'd had to add this in manually yourself, would have taken a lot of time to create from scratch. But thanks to this template, I don't need to. Instead, I can just click on each element and customize it as I want. So for example, I can change the names of the characters texting to be me and my dog, and I can change the text conversation, and I can drag and drop into the frames new pictures of us. And by doing this in less than 2 minutes, I created this fun little video of me having a texting conversation with my dog Starbuck. So yes, people often think of Canva's video tool as only being useful to create simple, basic videos, like those inspirational videos that just have a simple quote screen on them. But actually, there are a lot of very interesting, unique templates in here that let you create much more complex videos like this very, very fast. So then, let me now show you some of the most popular Canva tips and tricks that you need to know about. Yes, this is a space for tips and tricks which didn't really fit into any other section, but are really popular and used by top designers in the community to help greatly speed up the process of creating designs. So I wanted to start out by showing you a tip that I personally myself created. Basically, let's say that you had some text like this, and you liked the font, but it wasn't bold enough for your design. Well, here's a simple trick for you. Come to Text Effects and click the outline effect. Then change the outline to be the same color as your text and lower the thickness until the font is as bold as you like. It's a simple trick that I honestly use all the time. Now I'm going to show you a popular image editing trick that YouTubers use. So let's say I was making this video thumbnail and I wanted to do the thing that a lot of YouTubers do, which is to put a white outline around my photo. Well, I can come to edit and then I can click on shadows and then I can click on outline. Then all you need to do is to make sure the intensity is set to 100 and then to set the outline to be as thick or thin as you want using the size slider and then change the color. So again, most YouTubers using this effect usually make their outline white and then that's it. That is how most YouTubers add in this very popular effect into their thumbnails that they create in Canva. And here is another popular tool that a lot of Etsy sellers use, styles. So click on the design tab and then click on the styles tab. And then you will see that there are 3 different types of styles you can use. The first one is the font style. If you click on any of these styles, you will see that the fonts in the design will change to match it. So rather than having to change the fonts each time you create a design and add in new text boxes, you can save time by just adding in generic text boxes and then automatically changing the font by just using either a preset font style or one that you create. Then next, there is also the color option. This will let you quickly and easily change the colors of your design just by clicking on any of these palettes. And if you keep clicking the same palette, it will cycle through the different colors, changing up how the different colors appear on the same design for each of your designs, giving them all their own unique look. This can be super helpful because what you can do is, for example, create one Instagram post template, and then you can use color palettes to quickly create 5 different variations of it. And of course, there's also the third style option, which is combination. This is both the font and color palette styles, options that have been merged together. Each style option has its own color palette and its own fonts. And so each time you click on one of these, it'll change both the colors and the way the fonts are displayed. This is a huge time saver. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how you can export, save, and download your designs so that you can actually use them. Yay! But first, if you've been watching this video and been thinking, I'd love to know more about those clothing designs and those t-shirt designs that Sarah is creating with Canva and selling online. Well, you know what? You can. Yes, because I actually have lots of free tutorials and case studies on this channel that show exactly how my stores work and make me money. And it's pretty simple. Basically, I combine Canva and AI tools to create cool, unique clothing focused on specific niche customers that big corporations often neglect, such as this t-shirt design I created here in Canva aimed at people who have pet parrots. Then I come to print-on-demand apps like Printify and Printful. These apps have a huge amount of blank products like clothes that you can customize and sell for a profit. So I just upload my designs onto one of these products, and then I list them online, such as with Shopify or on Etsy, for a markup price. And then each time a customer sees my item and buys it, the print-on-demand app will see the order and automatically print my design onto the product and then ship it out to the customer. I pay them the base cost to print and ship the product, and then I get to keep the difference as profit. I personally love print on demand because I find it a very automated and very passive way to sell products online. So if you'd like to learn more about how I do it, I have a free ebook, The 6 Steps that 6-Figure Online Stores Follow to Make Over $10,000 a Month with Print on Demand. You'll find a link to download a copy of my free ebook in the video description below. And if you're even more curious and you'd like even more tutorials, then I also have a video course called the Ecomm Clubhouse. This course includes my most in-depth tutorial videos, including videos on how I get free search engine traffic on Etsy and market my products for free. So if you'd like to check out my course, I'll also include a link to it in the video description below. But anyway, back to the video. And let's now discuss how to save, export, and download designs with Canva. Yes, and before I do, just a warning. There are a lot of different file types that you can save your projects as within Canva. So rather than go through them all, I'm just going to show you the 4 most common file types that most people use when they are creating and exporting their designs in Canva, and show you the different settings that you can choose from. Yep, so here's how to do it. For any design you have, just click the share button, then click the download button. Now you can modify your download settings, and the first one is file type. Now, for images like this t-shirt design here, usually PNG will be the one most people want. But if you're instead going to be creating some sort of printable file or PDF, then you probably want to choose PDF for printing. And if you're creating a video like a TikTok or Instagram reel, then you will definitely want to select MP4. And if you're creating a presentation like a PowerPoint, you'll instead want to be clicking PPTX. Now, if you click to download your design as a PPTX file, you'll see that your options will change to this. Select how many pages you want to be included into your presentation, and then click download. Simple. But if you instead click to download your file as an MP4, your options will instead look like this. By default, your resolution will be set to 1080p, but if you'd like to save it as 4K, you can dial it up using the slider. This will make the file a lot bigger. So if you don't need this, keep it set to 1080p. And then again, choose how many pages, i.e. scenes, that you want to be included in your video, and then just click download. Easy. And if you instead click to download your file as a PDF, your options will look like this. If you want to have crop marks shown in the file when printed, click this checkbox. Most people will probably want to keep this unticked though. And then if you want to flatten all the elements to remove the layering, you can tick this box. This can help with the printing process and also make it harder for anyone to steal any images you used in it. So it is often a good idea to tick this. And if you also want to include any notes that you added into your designs on Canva, you can tick this, although most people will probably want to leave this unticked. Then you can just choose which pages you want to download as a PDF. Then you choose what type of color profile you want to use. Now, this often confuses people. RGB and CMYK are simply different ways to generate colors. RGB is an additive color model that generates colors by combining red, green, and blue light together. This method allows for over 16 million shades. Whereas CMYK is a subtractive color model which uses blue, pink, yellow, and black and generates less shades than RGB. Historically, printers have in the past printed with CMYK files. However, a lot of the major printing services and printers out there, such as Amazon's KDP service, have actually pivoted and designed their printers to work with RGB files. So if in doubt here, I would personally choose to select RGB, as a CMYK printer can usually still print an RGB file anyway. However, if you do know for certain that you'll be printing with a CMYK printer, you can also choose that. Then just click download. And of course, if you selected to download your file as a PNG, your download options will look like this. If you want to increase the resolution of your image, you can use this slider to do so. When I make images to print as t-shirt files that I actually sell, I usually increase the resolution as much as I can to ensure that it prints in high quality. Whereas on the flip side, if you instead want to use a smaller image, you can select to compress the image, which can be good if you'll be posting instead your image just to a website and you want it to load as quickly as possible. You can also choose to make the background transparent. And here's why this actually matters. If I save this file and I don't make the background transparent, it will save with the white background. And so here's what it will look like when uploaded onto a t-shirt. Whereas if I choose to make the background transparent, this is what it will look like when it is printed onto a t-shirt. Basically, it's up to you and your design whether you want the background in it or not. But for me, for most of my t-shirt designs, I choose to make the background transparent. Then you just click whichever pages you wish to download, and then that's it. You just click to download it. Plus, you should also probably know this. You should probably know how to save and share your files as a private Canva template that you can resell. Yes, so in addition to saving your designs as a file, you can also save them as a private Canva template. And the most common reason people do this is to resell their template on an online marketplace like Etsy to make money. Canva templates on here are super popular. Basically, people come to Etsy to look for aesthetic Canva templates that they can then purchase and then customize themselves within their own Canva account by getting access to the private template. For example, social media post packs on here are very popular. These are usually sold as Canva templates. People buy these to get access to the basic layouts, which they can then customize with their own content. So let's say I made something like this too. Like, let's say I'd made my own Instagram post pack with different posts like this one here that people could customize with their own photos and their own text. Well, turning this into a template is easy. Just click share, then click see all, and then click on template link and select to make a link. And now Canva will generate a private URL that you can copy. And now you can email or message that link to whoever you choose. And if you do and they click on it, they'll be taken to a page like this one here. And all they have to do is click the View Template button, and now they can make a copy of your design and use it themselves. So a really common tactic is if you want to sell a template on, say, Etsy, it's that you make a one-page thank you PDF file with Canva, and you include a link to your template that you're selling in it as a button. And then when a customer buys your template from you, you send them this PDF. Super simple. So thank you for watching my tutorial video. I hope that it was able to help you. And if you are curious and you would like to learn more about how I use Canva to make money online, be sure to watch my next video here on screen, and I will see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching my video.